When I walk into the patient's room, I'm going to be checking my surroundings for any dangers such as cords, spills, or anything that might impede me from being able to do my job safely. Then I can enter the room. Hi Herbert, my name's Morgan. I'm going to be your student nurse today. I then continue with my safety check. The patient seems okay right now, so I'm going to move on by checking his IV bag to see what is running, when it was put up. We're checking the tubing to make sure that it's not expired. This would have to be changed. We're making sure there's no kinks in the line and that the IV site looks like there is no redness, there's no edema around the outside, and there's no blood in the catheter. After that, we would check all the oxygen on the wall to make sure that it's functioning properly, the suctioning, and all of the air regulators. That would also include making sure that all the essential equipment would be in the room. So we would need suctioning masks, a nasal cannula, and anything, the yankers that are at the bedside. So mainly, we would next need to check that the epidural pump is pumping the right medication and that it's infusing into the patient. And we would have to roll the patient over and check the site to make sure that there is no issues currently with his site. Then we can start performing our assessment on the patient. So we follow this sheet. Herbert specifically has an epidural continuous infusion currently. So we're going to follow down the list. So first we start off with taking his respiratory rate and the sedation score monitoring. So I had already taken his respiratory rate. We have to chart this on the pain management flow sheet. I begin by writing the time. And then right here, we're writing what it is infusing. So we would check up here on the pump to what it's infusing. So I'm going to say that this is 2 milliliters an hour because that's what the pump says. He's not on an intermittent narcotic. He's not on a PCA, so we put a straight line through here. Then we have to do a pain score. So you follow the sheet and you say on a scale of 1 to 5, or 0 to 5, I guess I should say, are you experiencing any pain? So let's say Herbert says that he's experiencing 3 out of 5 pain. So we would write a 3 under the pain score section. And then for the sedation scoring section, so we would have to look down the list. And Herbert seems as if he is wide awake and oriented. So that would mean that I have to put a 1 for that part of the assessment. I've assessed his respiratory rate to be 16. I found his heart rate to be 55 and his blood pressure to be 135 over 50. Oh, no, over 67. Sorry. Then next, what we would have to do, since we're following the sheet, is the motor assessment. So we would come over to our patient here and bring our sheets. And what we do is we're checking his site to make sure that there is no pain around it. Make sure that there is no excess fluid and no redness around the site of insertion. And for our motor assessment, we have to flex the feet and the knees. So we would get the patient to flex their knees like this and then back out again. I would also get the patient to be able to see if they can flex their feet and push on against my hands. So, depending on what the patient is able to do, we'll say today, in this instance, Herbert was able to fully flex his feet and knees without my assistance. So that would mean that he is at a 0 block. So, I come back over here and I write down on the sheet under motor assessment 0, as he was able to do full flexion of the feet and of the knees. Next, and we would have to do that assessment on both sides, and it would have to be done one at a time, as sensations can be different on both sides. We found that the left side was the same as the right side, so we would put a 0 for the second box there. Next, we assess his dermatomes. So on the chart, it has a list of where all the dermatomes are, and that's when you take ice and I'm going to take some ice, put you down for a second. So I'm going to be checking on Herbert, on his dermatomes. So you can see we're going to be doing each side individually. So we're starting at the C1, moving our way all the way down to the bottom at S1. And we're asking if he can feel anything. And if he can't feel anything, that is to be expected around his trunk, given that he's on bupivacaine. And that's an epidural, and it causes paralysis. So, after doing the dermatome levels, we find that